So everyone thinks that Lake Minnetonka is Minnesota's crown jewel of luxury and lake living until they see the Gull Lake chain or the Whitefish chain, where you won't really see your neighbors unless you want to. So welcome to the showdown that nobody asked for, but everyone needs. It's Minnetonka versus the Brainerd Lakes, and only one is going to get the title for Minnesota's real luxury lakefront living in 2025. All right, if this is your first time on the channel, you want to know everything about living in the Brainerd Lakes area, subscribe below, tap that bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market here in the Lakes area. My name is Noah Gedker. We get calls, texts, emails from all the time from people just like you looking to make a move to the Brainerd Lakes area, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 9 months, shoot us a text, send us an email, give us a call, or schedule a Zoom call. All that info is in the description below. We'd love to help you make a smooth move to the lakes area. All right, so let's give credit where credit is due. Lake Minnetonka has definitely been the go-to for Minnesota's, elite luxury homes, luxury lake living for well over 100 years. And that's because, the 14,500 acres of just, really beautiful lakeshore. It's only about 30 minutes from downtown Minneapolis. Now, this depends on where you're trying to get to on Lake Minnetonka. But there's tons of private schools surrounded, different yacht clubs, golf courses, luxury cars, as far as you can see. The typical private lakefront home, I'll be the first to admit, that is not my market. I don't sell the Lake Minnetonka markets, but from what I can tell, the typical homes are about 4 to 6 million. And the more desirable bays that you're going to want to be in, because Minnetonka is made up of a whole bunch of bays. Lafayette Bay, Crystal Bay, Browns Bay, those are going to probably be the more desirable bays that you might be looking for. And the typical shoreline is going to be like as low as like close to 40 feet and up to about 75 feet. So a lot of the homes are going to be typical median year built is like 1974, and lots of times with quite a bit of renovation. Certainly new homes going up all the time. With that prestige, of course, comes, lots of traffic, HOA boards, and then, neighbors that you're definitely going to run into a bit more. All right, now let's talk about the rising star of the Brainerd Lakes area. It's not just a single lake. The Brainerd Lakes area has close to 500 lakes, but we're talking specifically today about the Gull Lake chain and the Whitefish chain of lakes, because they kind of go hand in hand when you're talking about the Brainerd Lakes area, okay? The Whitefish chain especially has, a lot of secluded coves and a lot of great places to hide out, trophy fishing areas, and, it's just a lot more privacy because you just don't have the same amount of traffic on either of the lake chains actually compared to Minnetonka. So the Gull Lake chain is about 10,000 acres and 38 miles of shoreline, and the Whitefish chain is over 14,000 acres with 14 interconnected lakes and about 119 miles of shoreline. Typical lake home is going to be 1.5 to upwards of about 4 million, but usually to about 3 million. So once you get over 4 million, then we're really starting to get into luxury. So, anywhere from like 3 to 6 million, going to be really, really high-end luxury for the Brainerd Lakes markets versus some of what you might see on Minnetonka, like the current listing that's $55 million. So we don't have that here. And here's the best part. You're not buying someone's 100-year-old rehab or renovation project. You're going to be buying a modern luxury home with boat up, restaurants, high-end resorts, some of the best resorts in the state, especially the Gull Lake chain, right? Grandview Lodge, Cragun's Resort, Madden's Resort. But yet you also have enough peace and quiet to avoid all of that, just all the traffic that you're going to get down on Minnetonka, okay? All right, so maybe we'll do some kind of fast facts, if you will, for comparing categorically Lake Minnetonka to the Brainerd Lakes area, okay? Obviously, quick proximity to the Twin Cities, Minneapolis metro area, Lake Minnetonka, about 30 minutes or so. Brainerd Lakes is about 2.5 hours, give or take. I guess that's uncertain who wins. Do you want to be closer? Then Minnetonka wins. If you want to be further away, then Brainerd Lakes wins. Okay. Privacy. Minnetonka is, kind of medium privacy compared to other neighborhoods, maybe in the Twin Cities. You're definitely going to see your neighbors. You're going to have traffic versus the Brainerd Lakes area, going to be a lot higher privacy, larger lots, a lot more dead end roads and stuff like that, that you're not having all the through traffic. Cost per foot of shoreline is definitely going to be higher. Minnetonka, the Brainerd Lakes area for the Gull chain or the Whitefish chain, going to range anywhere from 3,000 to 11,000 a front foot. There's a lot of variables on that we do discuss in other videos, so check out those videos. Okay. Rental income, if you're looking for rental income, Minnetonka might be not as good of an option just because of the larger amount of HOAs and more strict regulations compared to the Brainerd Lakes area, where there's a lot more tourist demand, much more short-term renter friendly. And then, yacht clubs, social clubs, that kind of stuff. Minnetonka is going to be kind of higher profile, a little more exclusive versus the Brainerd Lakes area, which would be much more casual, more community driven. Then when it comes to maintenance, renovation, you're more likely to have older homes at Minnetonka because of the proximity to the Twin Cities, right? Versus the Brainerd Lakes area, there's a lot more new construction options happening, okay? And then, of course, can't forget about fishing, right? So fishing and recreation, as far as I can tell, fishing and obviously the recreation is great on Minnetonka, without getting into all the nuances there. And then the Brainerd Lakes area, of course, the world-class fishing, right? I mean, there's a reason why there's so many fishing media companies based out of here and world-class fishing tournaments. The Brainerd JC's Ice Fishing Extravaganza, that's about 10,000 people on the ice at one time fishing in January. So I would say Brainerd Lakes area wins on that as well. And then when it comes to a little extra deal here is celebrities and stuff like that, celebrity spottings and stuff. So Minnetonka, of course, I don't spend time there, so it's only from what I hear, different athletes and stuff like that. Typically, it's going to be like Minnesota professional athletes that will be spotted, right? The Brainerd Lakes area is a little bit quieter, more private, so you do hear of these celebrity spottings, lots of times corporate executives, NHL players, people like that. They're usually a little bit more incognito and they just want privacy. So that's what you're getting up here in the Brainerd Lakes area. All right, next round, just some things that you need to know, okay? So the direction that your home faces does matter. If you're paying millions of dollars and not watching sunsets over the water, you're probably doing something wrong. However, if you're facing east and you're getting sunrises, then I almost prefer sunrises because, I tend to be up a little bit earlier in the morning, so you can enjoy the sunrises. However, sunrises are a lot quicker. They don't last as long as those sunsets, right? Knowing which direction you're facing, that is obviously something you want to consider. When it comes to boatable dining, Minnetonka, has Lord Fletcher's. There's a lot of other options too. I'm not as familiar with them. If you're familiar with Lake Minnetonka and you spend a lot of time there, leave some good restaurants down in the comments for people to check out, or maybe a place I could check out when I head down there next. The Gull Lake chain, of course, has obviously favorites like Zorba's, Bar Harbor, and many others. And the different resorts, of course, that have a lot of restaurant options as well. When it comes to winter lifestyle, that's another point to think about is, the Brainerd area has tons of snowmobile trails, ice fishing opportunities. So just really, if you get that full year cabin life versus Minnetonka, you're more likely parking your boat and probably just crying until springtime when you can get the boat out again. I'm not biased at all. So when it comes to like things like an investment return, I know it's another little quick thing to think about. The Brainerd Lakes area has seen appreciation of about 12% or so over year on luxury lake homes versus Minnetonka's a little bit more stable but slower appreciation, which from what it looks like is about 5 to 6%. Still a good appreciation, but hey. All right, and then also think about the lot sizes, right? So typical lot size for a private front lake home in the Brainerd area, like a $2 million home or so, it's probably going to be sitting on like 1 or 2 acres, potentially with 100 feet of shoreline or more. And Minnetonka, probably half that for land and much less, and even less shoreline as well. And then double the taxes. Okay. So which lake wins? Look, Minnetonka will always kind of be, like that old money favorite. But Brainerd is where the smart money is moving to in 2025. If you want exclusivity, natural beauty, true four-season living, and a better ROI, it's the Brainerd Lakes area all day long. Especially if you're someone who values experiencing, the slowness of life and just the little things to really enjoy peace and quiet, and also have enjoyment of entertainment all at the same time, especially then. If you're ready to explore the Brainerd Lakes area, whether it's Gull Lake chain or the Whitefish chain, or somewhere even a little bit more off grid, I'd love to help. Call, text, email, schedule that Zoom call. All the info again is below in the description. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap that bell for notifications that we never miss out on our future videos and other deep dives that we do here. And until next time, I'll see you around the Brainerd Lakes area.